Hi there. Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a couple of other features which have developed in the software. So assume that you are integrating RFID into applications, and you want to create RFIDs and give it to your users. So it's not advisable to keep this default keys as FFF. So I'm going to show you how to change the key A and key B in bulk. So we are working on the utility tab. What we're going to do here is first change the value of key B. So I want to change the value of key B. So using A, when you say using A, it means the value of the keys that are in the first tab. So using A, for all the sectors, I could have chosen from sector say 1 to 15, but to make it simple I'm going to choose from sector 0 to 15. Change the key B. So this time I'm going to set it to B0, B1, B2, B3, B4 and B5 and say change. So as you can see, you got a flashing green, so it is sending. Okay, it says change key is okay. So how do we prove it? So if you go to the dump screen here and say okay, if you remember, we still have the sector trailer at the factory value, that is 1, which also means the value of key B is readable. So you should see here the key B as B0 to B5. Okay, let's go to this sector trailer. I can say B0 to B5, B0 to B5, and so everywhere B0 to B5. Okay, so likewise I'm also going to change the value of key A itself. So using key A for all the sectors, change key A to this time to A0. So it's A0, A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5. So change. So let's go to the dump. As you can see, with the factor setting 001, you can never ever read key A. In fact, it's not at all possible to read the value of key A. So it's make no difference even if I get one more the dump here. So let's try to activate using the new keys. If you try to do now, obviously you get there's an error because it's no more the default case. Stop. So start again. You get A0, A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5. So authenticate. That's fine. I'm able to authenticate. So I can also use for B0 it's B0, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 and authenticate. Yeah. Now one thing you have to keep in mind, you can just authenticate using key B. You're not allowed to do any operations using key B because key B is in a readable condition. So if you try to do that, so you can see that it works here, but it doesn't work with the Mifare 4K. So it's not advisable to use a key that is readable and to do all these type of operations. So there are some handy features here on this screen itself. So for example, clicking this gets the default factory key. If I want to copy the keys from here to here or here to there, I can use copy to B and copy to A. For example, click this, these keys are copied here. These are just time saving features, although you don't have to type the keys manually. So factory setting, and you can also read this button. We can read what was the key that was used to read and write. So if you click read, it says that A0, A5 was used there. This is something which you can use if you want to know if you are just forgotten the keys and if you want to know what it is. And keep in mind, you can read only after you authenticated. So in other words, so what I've done is, when you authenticate, these values I store it in Arduino. So that is what you're trying to read. So not that you're able to read the value of key A or a key B from the Wi-Fi card. So likewise, so assume that I just went and changed, did something over there. I still want to know what was the key. Just read it. Yeah, this was the key. We have used it last. So one more feature which I have got here is called as a save. This feature is not very easy to for me to describe in this quick videos. Probably to just give an overview of what this means. Sometimes whenever we change the values of the keys, either key or key B, you have to remember the values of key or key B. So probably I will have a separate video on this, but these operations are not very common. So probably if you want more details about that, you can see the other videos. And most important thing is about this tab, the commands tab. This tab is very useful if you're trying to use my DLL with your program. So let's see what exactly they mean. Just going to clear that. Okay, so first let us start from the beginning. So look at that. When you get these type of things, the best option is take it out and put it back in. Yeah, all right, so just clear this. So what exactly I'm doing is, I'm sending the commands, some sequence of ASCII strings to the Arduino. So the program that runs in Arduino understands these commands and it talks to RFID and returns the result. Say for example, authenticate with A0, authenticate. See what exactly is happening here. I'm calling a method called authenticate. This is the method in my DLL, and this is the sequence of characters I'm sending it to my Arduino program. So it says 200160. I made a separate document on this which you can refer, and this command is what I'm sending to Arduino, and this one with the arrow towards us, this is what the Arduino has returned. So likewise, if I say read, so see the command. So you have to call the method called read data block hex, and this is the name of the method, and this is the string that's going to be passed 400, and this is the data you received from Arduino. After that, I'm also calling one more method called get access rights 7. In most of these commands, the first number is the command, the second is always a sector number, and third is always the block number, and after that follows any data I have to send. Say for example, I want to write this. Sorry, I can't do that on the factory block, sorry, the manufacturer block. Say for example, block 2. So let's try to read that. So as you can see here, the block 2 I'm calling read data blocks. So change this to say hello, okay, and say write to command. If you see that, I'm calling a method called write data block, and the command is 5, the sector 0, block 2, and all these 16 numbers are hexadecimal hex equivalent of that string. And if there's anything, everything works fine, I return a OK message. So likewise, you got for by looking at this command screen, you'll come to know all the commands and methods to use. So likewise, if I want to change this to say for example write as a value block with 200 values, right? If you go here, and you can see that it's called as a format value block, and 6 is the command 066. So if you really want to integrate my DLL with your system, you can refer the document I have prepared on all this on separate on DLL. So likewise, if you go to the bulk operations, I'm just calling the basic commands in a loop. Say for example, go. So we know that there are 16 sectors, and basically I'm trying to read 64 times. So if you see the command structure here, the command in the DLL is called dump card using the key, and this is the command center 200